Hello and welcome to Finding Your Niche, Episode 2. Finding Your Niche and Succeeding in It is MAHSA's latest series that aims to bring you inspiring stories from successful students, alumni, and professional friends of MAHSA who have taken their leaps of faith or dared to think out of the box to stand out of the crowd and own their niche. What is niche? What gets you there? Well, we hope you delve into yourselves after each episode of ours to ask that very same question and to plot your very own chart to success. The stories we bring you are ultimately aimed to help you discover yourself and to know that lifelong progress begins with your decision to say yes to it. And guess what? You have MASA to support your journey towards building the skills and knowledge you require to achieve your niche. So don't forget to ask us questions, anything whatsoever, in the comment box below, and we will get right back to you. Okay, so for today, with me here is our second episode is Mr. Ryan Su. All right, Mr. Ryan, hang on, let me bring him in. Yes, Mr. Ryan, good morning.
Okay. Good morning. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Ryan. Okay, let me just introduce Ryan to everyone. Ryan is a special counsel at Osborne Clark, Singapore, who has spent years in strategic practice spanning in the worlds of art, cultural property, intellectual property, and general dispute resolution. Ryan represents museums, artists, curators, galleries, art consultants, collectors, creators, entrepreneurs, and high net worth individuals in navigating the art business landscape and advancing their overall interest in litigation, mediation, negotiation, advisory, and non contentious matters. All right, so Ryan's practice is in Singapore with an international reach, and today Masa University reaches out to him from Malaysia to ask him his take on going niche. Hi, Ryan. Okay.
Hi, Jennifer. I can't wait for your questions.
Okay, my first question to you, all right, is tell us about yourself, your background, as a law graduate, and what inspired you to take up law?
Oh, okay, that's a very interesting one. I actually was not interested in taking up law, and I didn't want to be a lawyer. I was interested in plants actually, and I was going to become a landscape architect. But
To become a what architect?
landscape architect,
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
like a like an something like an architect who designs like the outdoor environment.
Yeah.
So that was my interest, and I was actually offered an opportunity to do that. But I thought the law was also interesting. So after the A levels in Singapore, I don't know if you have A levels in Malaysia, but the system here is that after the A levels, we have to just fill in a form to say that you want to go to these universities in Singapore. So I just filled it in, and I put in a law school. I didn't think I would be able to go there. No
Okay.
one in my family is a lawyer or knew much about the law. It's not like a legacy thing for me. So I just put it in, and I didn't expect to be selected, and I was offered a place. So that was perhaps a sign. So sometimes in finding your niche, you need to just take a leap in the dark, and maybe you get some kind of sign.
Yeah.
So then I was offered this place, and I accepted it. And also at that time I was doing some like landscape, like garden jobs on the side, and I had some people who didn't pay, and I actually filed a claim in the court myself, and
Okay.
I actually succeeded. So I thought that, oh no, me, or rather, oh yes, maybe I could be good at this, and so that led me to begin studying law. I didn't know anything about it. I had no background, and I had nobody to tell me about it.
Mhm.
So uh, that was how it started for me.
Interesting, huh? I mean, by chance, that means, right? This happened.
Yes. It's by chance, and I actually didn't want to go for the interview. I had a headache, and it was hot, and I didn't want to take a train to go to the school for the interview. So it was by chance.
But okay, but eventually you went, right? Who pushed
Eventually I
you?
went, and then at the interview, like all the other students were coming out, like all their faces were so sad because they were asked questions, very, very difficult questions. They were asked like, what do you know about the death penalty? I, of course, at that time didn't know anything about the death penalty. Like, what was I gonna say that was vaguely intelligent? And then the other questions were like, oh, if you're stranded on an island and you can only take like 3 items, what would they be? And of course, you cannot say things like that make you look stupid. You need to say like, oh, I would take like, I don't know, a compass or whatever. I can't say I want to take an iPhone, MP3 player or iPod Shuffle or whatever at that time. So all the people coming out and they were like really upset. But when it came to my turn, he asked me what are your hobbies, and I said, oh, I like plants. And then I couldn't stop talking, and so they asked me the question that that perhaps led me to succeed, and they didn't know it, and it all just fell into place. So like what I said, sometimes in finding your niche, you need to have some kind of signs, and you need to follow these signs, and sometimes the universe somehow just aligns for you. So a lot of things had aligned to get me to where I was and where I was going to be.
That's true. I think in one of the writings that you've written as well says that you just need to put yourself out there, right? And allow yourself to see what comes your way. And I guess that's what you did, right? At that point, not knowing exactly where you're going to lead to, but somehow everything led to where you are right now, isn't it?
Yes, I was very young. I was maybe
Yeah.
20 years old or something around there. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Other people had a clear idea. They wanted to be a lawyer and they want to go this school and that school or whatever, but I didn't really have a plan. And but I knew that I had certain interests
Mm.
that I would like to pursue. And this is just not like a casual interest where say you like knitting, it's not like just knitting, but like knitting and then reading about like the history of knitting or the philosophy of knitting and that kind of to that
Yeah.
kind of level, to
In
pursue an
depth.
interest to a
Yeah.
high level. And I
Yeah.
think I did that with plants in the past. And that somehow translated when they interviewed me for law. And then I talked about that. And then that also makes you interesting because if I were to just go there to talk about the death penalty or something like that, it would be terribly boring.
But what if you had to talk about the death penalty? You turn it to
Or
plants.
I'll be in trouble. I
Yeah, so that's what you said that the world, I mean, everything just aligned for you, and got
yeah,
you to it.
I would be in deep trouble. So
Yes.
lucky that didn't happen. So to follow your niche, I guess you have to see the signs and see what aligns and also pursue your interest because a niche would probably be something on the side or some kind of interest that nobody else knows about. So
Correct.
so I
That's
read
true.
this quote and I talk about this quote. Uh Jennifer and I were preparing for this and she said she wanted to ask me about quote, but I said no quote. I had no favorite quote, but this quote or rather I can't really quote it, but let me just tell you the concept. So I read this article where I think it was about Elon Musk, one of his ex-wife, or maybe he has only one ex-wife, I'm not sure. But she
Okay.
wrote that his path to success was being good in two things, being a master of two things, not just like a casual level, but at an expert level. So for me, it was plants. I like other things aside from plants. But at that time, okay, let's just take plants as an example. So I like plants. Then later on, I studied law and I graduated. Right? So then maybe law became a second area of expertise. And she said, when you just need to be an expert in two areas, and then you put these two areas together, and that's where your niche is. That's the synergy. That's where like your Venn diagram meets in the middle, and this is a special area where only you can occupy, and that's going to be your niche because who would know so much about the law and so much about plants? It would only be you, and you have no competitors. So whatever you're interested in, maybe you're interested in being a doctor or like in medical, and maybe you're interested in something else. uh and you could be the only person who and then when you mix these two things together, you could be the only person who knows about this, and that is going to be your niche.
That's
And going back to the point about the stars aligning, I think this talk was also about stars aligning because I wrote this article for the Law Gazette in Singapore, which is supposed to be published this month. I don't even know whether it's published, but it's supposed to be for January, about building a niche area in your practice of law or something like that.
Yes.
So, and then Jennifer told me that she was doing a talk, and apparently the whole series is about finding a niche. I was like, okay, we need to do this talk. So, so, so that's how it lined up. Yeah.
Yeah, it lined up so perfectly well for you and for me to get this going. So thanks
Somehow,
for
yeah. So somehow things just line up, and you don't
this.
know it. I was like, oh, when Jennifer asked me to talk, oh, you can talk about anything and this and that. I was like, at that time, I didn't know. And then she sent me like some materials, and oh my god, the title of the talk is what I just wrote about, and like we need to do this talk. So, so yes, that's how things line up.
Amazingly. Okay. You said about your write up in the Singapore Law Gazette, correct? How to build a niche practice. So, what exactly did you advise lawyers out there in this write up of yours? And maybe we could, take a point or two from that and, put into practice for our students and our alumni who's listening in today as to how they can build their own niche. Can you share a little bit about what you wrote?
So I wrote some points, and I think the main one to build your niche was what I just shared, where you need to be a master or an expert in two areas, and where these two areas intersect, it will be your own domain, and it's difficult for other people to compete with you or to enter. So you have
Yeah.
to find two things that you're good at, and then that will be your niche. But you could be good at more than two things. So later on, I developed other expert areas that I was interested in. Like I like birds, but no
Mhm.
one's interested in birds. But that doesn't matter because I am interested in birds, and some of my friends are, although my other friends think I'm weird. So you can be interested in other things. So from there, I helped a client on a pro bono basis to. I represented him in a case where he was being prosecuted because he was keeping chickens in a HDB flat, which is a government flat in Singapore. And
Okay.
so it became the law, but the law about chickens. so so that was a niche. So I knew about birds and animals, but I also knew about the law, and I perhaps was well placed to advise him in this case. So so the same way if somebody wants to know about art, so art is nothing, right? We haven't talked about art, we talked about art.
Yeah,
So
you
if
haven't.
somebody wants to know about art thing and has like a legal problem, maybe I'm in a position to help that person because that would be my niche. So and these are the different subject areas where you can be an expert in. So like what I said earlier, you could be an expert in like medical, but you could also be like an expert in accounting, or you could be expert in medical but also expert in law. Then you can be
Yeah,
like a lawyer who fights like
for
medical
medical cases.
malpractice, negligence cases, plastic
Yes.
surgery gone wrong, or whatever. So that would be your niche, because not many people would represent people maybe in plastic surgery that has gone wrong, but you know how to do it. So it's about it's about finding that niche and the expert areas that you're interested in.
But many people find it scary to have a niche because they feel that, in business wise, they feel like if I have a niche or if I'm only good for that, then I might not actually, um, what do you call that? My business may not flourish. My business may die a quick death because not many people are into it. Then what
Yes, I
happens?
understand this. So that's the thing about a niche. A niche is a special and unique area, and the thing about a niche is also that it's very small, and it has a
Yeah.
small market. So your job after finding your niche is to build the niche, to expand your market, or rather to to let yourself be more well known around the world, because don't limit yourself to your local market, but maybe people around the world would need help with like
Yeah, think
plastic
global, right?
surgery cases or whatever, and then you will be like the go-to person about these types of things. So after finding your niche, I guess, which is the title of this talk, the next series would be building your niche. So you need to build it, to expand it, to let people know about you, and what you can offer to the world, and what you can put out there to help others as a service. And I think that's the best way, where you don't look at it in terms of how much money you can make at first. I think when you keep doing good work, the money will come.
Yeah.
That's what I still think. I don't have a lot of money, but that's what I believe. So 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 yes. So when you do good work and you find your niche, you build it, and more people will start talking about you and knowing about you.
Okay, like now
And
you are in
yeah,
property, intellectual property law, arts law, this and that. But you do also do the other part, other types of law. Or are you only
yeah.
focused
So
on
this is the thing about a niche. To get a niche, you need two expert areas. You're already an expert in each area. So if my niche was art and law, I would already know a lot about
law?
law and
Yeah.
would be prepared to do a lot of more general things about law. So that's a misconception that people say, oh, you only are niche business or whatever. But maybe you know a lot about your one particular subject area or a particular part that you will already be a master of for you to even develop a niche. So a
Correct.
lot of misconceptions that, oh, you need, like, maybe you're stereotyped or you're pigeonholed into a small area, but no. So if you're a doctor but you specialize in certain things, doesn't mean you cannot do like general stuff. I'm sure you do.
Correct. That's true.
So so that's a misconception. I think people who have niches are like perhaps have some specialty, but they would be
But
able to
able to
do
also do the
something more
general part
general
of
as
it.
well. Yes.
That's right. That's right. That is true. And there was this friend of mine who once said, "Oh, Jennifer, you keep doing everything under the sun. You keep trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to do this. You're going to be a Jill of all trades and master of none." I'm like, that's what you think, but somehow everything I did connected in such a way that I mastered in one really good thing, which nobody else can do, you know? And so it's like very often you have people rubbing off their inabilities on us, right? Or their insecurities on us. Because they can't do it, they expect you not to do it either, you know? So, what I want my audience, our audience, MAHSA's audience to know is that, you see, we've got exemplary people out there who've discovered such unique niches, you know. Who would have thought, right? Plants would be the one that led you to where you are. It's your hobby, isn't it? And most of the time, if you're a guy and you say you like plants, people are like, are you okay? You know, they stereotype us so much that you have, oh, because you're a guy, this should be the way, because you're a girl, only this must be yours. But that's what we need to break, you know, that whole idea that it doesn't matter if you're a doctor and if you're into art, you can actually merge those interests together. Or if you're a medical lab tech like I was and I became a writer, so how I merged these things and became my niche, right? Yours is in your niche, which you just explained. So it's doing what most people will not think about, isn't it?
I guess it
And
will all join up somehow. Like when I was interested in plants, like I don't know what that would lead me to be. Would I be like a farmer or I don't know. So so
we have a friend in Masa who is an accountant and he's excellent with plants. Okay, I think I should introduce you to him. And he's just amazing, Mr. Zahari. You know, he's just amazing with the way he knows exactly which plant should go for what and how to do up the place. And oh my god, I should bring him in our next episode or something. You know, let everyone see his marvelous touch. You know, he's an accountant. Who would have thought an accountant having that ability, right? And who would have thought a lawyer can do this? You know, this is just amazing. I think this kind of thing should inspire others to just keep tapping into whatever possibilities there are for themselves, and bring such pixie dust to everyone else. I suppose, I don't know, I'm probably just on a Sunday mood going on ranting about this, but I think you feel the same energy I do, right, Ryan?
yes, but sometimes like what you said, there are people who say, oh, you're doing all these random things, like why are you wasting your time?
Yeah, the
But
wasting your time. Who says there is no time?
but eventually it will it will join up, and you would realize it would be meaningful, but maybe much later on.
Correct.
So, and your experiences would lead you to where you are, and you needed to take those steps to get to where you are. You couldn't skip one of them. So a lot of people say, "Oh, I regret doing this and that." No, but that led you to this and that and that.
Yeah,
So
the experience, correct.
so I I don't live in a place of regret, and I don't think people should, but rather to, should to appreciate and to harness their background and their experiences to build their career, and to find something they're interested in, or to develop their niche. Everyone is unique. If people expect you to be like somebody else, I think your life would be quite sad. And I think that's like a lot of the same type of thing where parents put a lot of expectation onto their children, but maybe that's not what the children want for themselves, or not what the children like, or maybe not even what the children are good at. So like when I was young, I was forced to learn the piano, but I was never interested in the piano. So, and I like music, but I mean, no one hates music, but I wasn't interested in playing the piano to make the music, and I was tone deaf. So, so it's not my interest. So half the time I and my brother or whatever, we spend the time trying to destroy the piano. So I put this like, do you know what is kuti kuti? I put the kuti kuti into the piano keys to, it's like this little plastic toys that you need to like flick it above the other one. Right? I would jam it into the piano to destroy the piano. So
Your parents listening in.
so
This is an open confession.
so it was horrible, and I went through so
Please check
many
the
piano
piano
teachers.
now.
I was just not interested, and the piano teachers I'm sure were great, but that's not what I wanted
Yeah, it's not
to
yours.
be,
You're
and
not
I was not interested in
interested.
piano. So finding a niche is also about exploring, and if something is not yours, or you're not meant to do that, you won't be unable to do it, and you won't enjoy
If
it.
you don't try, you won't know, also, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's also not a story about like, if I don't like piano, I should just give up. I did it for like maybe 10 years, and I still didn't like it. So so
I
yeah.
understand my daughter's pain now. Why you keep sending me for these classes and I'm not interested?
So finding a niche is about what you like, and if not, you can't, you won't have the stamina to carry on, and it will not have longevity. It will be painful.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Yeah.
I agree with that totally. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Ryan. Seriously. And I hope your mom and dad were listening in, though. You're going to check the piano later, okay, uncle, auntie. Okay. Before we wrap up today's episode, I'd like to ask you. I mean, you've said so much, and anyone who's listening really attentively, there's so much to capture from what you've just shared with us. But Ryan, if you could just give one word of advice to our listeners, our students, our Malaysian school leavers, our MAHSA students, our MAHSA alumni, and our friends, as to what is the most important element you need to have in making yourself stand out. What is the most important element you would say to them? What is your advice?
I would think it'd be your good work, because without the good work, then there'll be nothing to talk about. You can't help people. You don't have any substance. Or okay, that sounds a little bit harsh. Not that you don't have any substance, but you need to help people and to provide some kind of service to the world. And and when you have that, the word will go out, and people would seek you out for a particular thing that you can help them with. And so I would say that the most important thing to help you stand out or to have is would be your talent and your skills
Yeah,
to produce good work.
I agree.
Yes.
I totally agree with that. Talent and skills, right? And I like that one thing you also wrote inside your write up for the Singapore Law Gazette is that having a niche is only for the brave. It's only for the
Yes,
brave.
because it's a small area, and you need to not only find your niche, but you need to build it, and it's a lot of work. I mean,
Yeah,
if you just work for like a big company, or in the corporate world, maybe maybe you have a stable job, and of course there are other problems that come with that, but there's stability. But in finding your niche, there's no stability. You create what you need to do. You
Yeah,
are
you need
the
to build it.
master of your own destiny. But you know what? A lot of famous and successful people have said that they would rather bet on themselves than bet on other people, because with yourself, you know what you can do, and it wouldn't be that risky. So perhaps bet on yourself.
Bet on yourself. All
Yes.
right. That's good. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Ryan, for being with us this morning. And really, it was such a pleasure having you with us. And your stories were really, I enjoyed it. I really did. And I hope our audience who are watching us live today, and for those who will be joining us later to watch our pre recorded, I hope they get to take what is the essence of our stories today and um, make the most out of it, may they find their path towards their niche lah. Okay, so thank you once again, Ryan, for
Thank you,
being with us.
Jennifer.
Yes,
And
on
I
being
look forward
on
to your next series on building your niche. And I wish you all the best. And this is a great series. I think a lot of people would find it useful, and would and what you're doing is wonderful work. So I also wish you all the best.
thank you so much. All right, so guys and girls, okay, with that, we've come to the end of our episode 2. And to our viewers, please don't forget to click on the links that I've shared in the comment box to take your feedback, and also to find out from you who else you would like to have me bring on board MAHSA's latest series, Finding Your Niche. And let's keep the ball rolling in inspiring ourselves and the whole world in finding the best side of you and how you can serve your community. All right. With that, I'd like to say thank you. Have a good day and catch up with all of you soon. Bye.